great. I think the board members brought the sun out. Thank you. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Gadigal of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to their elders.
Hello.
I'd like to welcome the Lord Mayor Clover Moore. Thank you very much for coming. Darren Parkinson from Eclipse Passivhaus, our major sponsor, and Kate Mason, our passive chair of the Australian Passivhaus Association. So we felt inspired by the inherent wisdom of the Australian First Nations people and their gunya or whirly shelters in the design of these boxes. Also with new Australians and temporary structures. Tents of the gold rush, wartime, depression and immigration, modern day simple tents to our connection to nature, be it bush or the beach. The simple corrugated iron clad tin sheds and our climate of extremes. So you'll probably see some of that narrative is missing from the boxes. This is the reveal. So we've had the builders in since 7 o'clock this morning pulling off the roofs, but what you see here and for the reveal is what Passivhaus is all about. It's a fabric first approach and that's what's left. Buildings can look like anything. So this is where you start. So the first decision you make when you want to embark on a new project is the fabric of your building. So obviously Passivhaus, highly insulated, airtight, high performance windows, and minimising or eliminating thermal bridging, and that's what you'll see in the Passivhaus versus the code box. Building code is sometimes referred to as the worst house you can legally build, and I think we've demonstrated, and we'll unveil the ice a little bit later on, and demonstrate the thermal performance of Passivhaus. Passivhaus was developed in Germany some 30 years ago. Across all climate zones and asset classes. There's examples of schools, of hospitals, commercial buildings, pools, car dealerships all over the world. There's 80,000 Passivhouses being built and certified around the world. In Australia, we have commercial buildings, we have student accommodation, childcare centres, community centres, and of course residential. This would not have been possible today without support from the City of Sydney and the Environmental Grants Program. So we'd really like to thank Clover Moore. Sydney's a global leader in combating climate change as part of the C40 initiative and is committed to the net zero carbon building declaration. Where there's inaction from other levels of government, the City of Sydney just steps up every time. We're really proud to be partnering with you on this, and thanks for your support. So I'll pass it to you.
Thanks, Paul, and hello everyone. I was really pleased to be part of this project, and I think it's not going to be a huge surprise when the boxes are open shortly, and we'll see the difference in the melt rate. A difference created by the application of the Passivhaus principles, as Paul said, adopted in Germany 30 years ago. Since then, the standards have evolved further and spread to countries as climatically diverse as Canada, Dubai, Sri Lanka and Japan, and the UK. In 2017, I had the pleasure of launching the Fern in Alexandria, Australia's first Passivhaus apartment building designed by Oliver Steele. I remember him saying at the time that the savings residents made in other costs would recoup their building costs within 5 years. So I was very pleased when we decided to give this grant to Paul's organisation to give this really interesting example of what Passivhaus means and to promote Passivhaus design and construction. I think it's very frustrating that our government seem so inert in using the regulatory powers to promote the use of clear and proven technologies and methods that would help alleviate the climate crisis while promoting a better quality of life for all Australians. When you think that of our extreme weather just this week the International Panel on Climate Change issued its latest report, warning that 40% of the world is now in danger zone. that species are dying out, and even a 1.5 degrees warming means that we're in trouble. So, and we're experiencing those floods, and probably next summer we'll experience one like the recent one. And it is so obvious that we need to do so much more. And this is such a good example, not only to improve people's living environments, and the majority of us live in cities. This could make a real difference to people's living environments. Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, didn't mince his words. The abrogation of leadership on climate change was, he said, criminal. So we all must accept responsibility, act with determination to leave a habitable world, and we can all make a start. Sustainability, like charity, can start at home. So this is a real example of what could be done by governments. I know in the UK it's even been done in social housing and giving people that of course, in the Northern Hemisphere they've got to protect them from the cold, and in the Southern Hemisphere of course we've got to protect from the heat. Both governments could provide leadership on this. UK's way ahead in terms of acting on climate change. Started with Thatcher, interestingly, the Conservative, but it's really exciting what they've been doing. It's a good example to us, and I think the Passivhaus is actually looking after social housing tenancy in England, and you think that today the Waterloo project has finally been announced by the Minister, and yes, the build form, the urban environment will be much better, and we really welcome that. There's been a lot of work to try and improve that. But what we didn't achieve was getting the government to put more affordable social housing on that site, which is a public housing site. So environmentally it's going to be much better, but in terms of social sustainability it won't be. But here's a really good example, so we've got to always celebrate those. So thank you, Paul, for involving it.
Thanks, Lana. Yeah, I think the social housing is a good point. It's usually the worst of the worst in the construction of social housing, and this is an example of how we can do better. I'd like to call Darren Parkinson now to do the unbar. Well, say something, but say something. Thanks, Lord. Thanks, Paul. For those who don't know, my name is Darren Parkinson. I'm the director of Passivhaus, and we're manufacturers of prefabricated Passivhaus building systems. Closer. Example of which you can see behind me. It's been an enormous privilege to be involved in this event and to demonstrate the clear benefits of a high-performance Passivhaus building envelope. I would really like to thank the City of Sydney for getting behind this event and for demonstrating a clear commitment to a future of low-carbon and net-zero buildings. Thank you to APHA for putting this event on and ultimately entrusting us to deliver it. And finally, I'd just like to put a thank you to all the team who have been involved with this. Sue Connor from Gaia Architects for such a stunning design. Our fantastic team at Eclipse who put in enormous effort to get these buildings built, huge hours in amongst our contract work for other clients. Scott Stewart from LAB Design for his Passivhaus expertise in design assistance. Daniel Jacobs from ProClima for his air tightness and membrane origami assistance. Jason and Harley for Logic House, who provided us with both the Passivhaus windows and a code compliant window. Jonathan Hill from Rubio for the sensor data that has provided a lot of information on the performance of the buildings. Jason Vizzle from Reach Crane Trucks, who did an enormous amount of work to help us get these boxes here and will ultimately help us get rid of them. Damien Hadley from Cantilever Structural Engineering for helping us resolve some of the complex structure associated with Sue's wonderful design. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, and look, this build was epic. You've done an absolutely fantastic job. They look beautiful. Sue, the design was amazing. And just being here, watching the work that went into putting these up, it was probably about 10 times more harder than it would be. It's just been wonderful, and all the helpful response. responses have been great. Now I'd like to call on Kate to come up and we will have a look and see if anyone's surprised by how much ice is left in each of the box, and hopefully you'll be able to make a gin and tonic out of the code box.
Did you want to go up there and grab the microphone?
Oh, you're going to find
There's the bell.
These guys are going to...
Right on the bell.
Oh, that's all right. Yes. Okay.
Alright, so we ran a little bit of a guessing competition on the amount of ice that would be left in each box, and we've got a winner which guessed the right difference, so how much ice had actually melted between the two. We'll reveal the code box first. Ta-da! So yeah, we might be able to make a few gin and tonics. And the grand total of ice in that small piece is 0.8 kilograms. So just 800 grams of ice left from, is it 800 kilos to start with?
Close to 1,000. It's close to a ton.
Close to a ton.
Yeah.
Just under a ton.
Yeah.
So that's only 12 days. So that's, yeah, I think speaks for itself. And now for the Passivhaus cube.
Oh, look at that.
Hooray! Look at that, everyone!
So we still have approximately half of that left. So we've got 413 kilos of ice left in the Passivhaus box, which was, yeah, speaks for itself. So we've got the winner who guessed the perfect difference between the two blocks. So the total amount of ice that was melted was actually 412 kilos, and Libby Hudson was the winner. So if you're here, raise your hand. Otherwise, we will post your prize to you, and you've won membership to APHA. So
Well done, Libby.
thank you for everyone for participating, and I'll hand back to Paul.
All right, well, thanks everyone for coming. Thanks everyone for popping down. We've had so many visitors. I might come up here actually. We've had so many visitors over the last 12 days. A bit of a shame about the rain, but we had just so much interest. People were just looking and wondering what it was, looking in the windows, and we hope we've demonstrated at least the superior thermal qualities of a Passivhaus. There's other, obviously the health and well-being benefits and other benefits, but this is a clear example of the superior performance of Passivhaus. So thanks everyone for being involved. Once again, thanks to the City of Sydney. We really appreciate you partnering with us on this, and of course to Darren for the magnificent job on the boxes. Thanks everyone.
Well done, Sam. I don't know how to stop this. It's alive.